Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Rural Contractor. I'm your host, Paul Osmondson. And today's topic is my story. Just had a phone call with a contractor. He was very much just feeling down and out, and he just started the conversation by, why do you do what you do? And I said, coaching? Modern shed builders, like when I was doing construction? And he's like, all of it. I asked him, I was like, where do you want me to start? Anywhere. And I'm like, well, let's start at the beginning. So I'm going to share my story with you guys quickly today. Try to do it quickly. I'm going to start at a point where I was farming. I had a huge investment into my farm, ground. I have cows. I'm working for my brother's construction operation at this time. At this time, we were roughly running a 3-man crew, meaning I was the foreman and I had 2 other guys, full-time guys underneath me, summer help, occasional help, part-time help. So we could be anywhere from 2 guys on the job site to 6. At this time, we did a lot of roofing, siding, decks. We were all over the place. A window here, a door there, a bathroom remodel, build a house, whatever, we did it all. 0 advertising, but we did whatever jobs came in. So in this, I was getting burnt out. And I'm thinking at the time, I hate construction. I hate what I do. I loved the people I worked with, but I just wasn't getting that motivation. And long term, I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to farm full time. Like, this is a means to an end until I can afford to farm full time. At this time, I'm farming. I'm, going into the bank after the first year of buying my farm and going, hey, I can't pay this. I'm 10 grand short. So I am short on money. And what am I doing? I got to keep working harder to make more money. Work harder. It'll all work out in the end. In this, failing's not an option. I got to keep going. But I was not happy with what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. I'm just working for an hourly wage. At this time, I don't even remember what I was making. I think I was making $19 an hour. Anyways, it's relevant. In that time, I said, I'm not going to do this next year. So I'm building my farm operation at this point. So I'm taking on more cows. I'm doing more on that side, not making more money. But at this time, I also have 2 young kids at home. Lindsay's a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids that are less than 2 years apart. I got to make an income, and we're not paying our monthly bills consistently. But I'm so fed up, I'm done. I didn't know what I was building towards. Thought I was building towards this farming thing, but I needed cash flow coming in so that we could pay our bills. I had a couple different job opportunities to work for farmers. One offered me the same amount of money hourly that I was making, but no time and a half. So anything over 40 hours a week, not time and a half, which was something I was not used to. But they were like, hey, you can just be at 40 and be done. So I was like, not a valid option. The other farmer offered me $3 an hour less than I was making, but I would get time and a half. I came to this conclusion that I'm already not paying my bills. I can't take that option. So now I'm stuck. What am I going to do? How am I going to make money? I already left this job. I don't want to go back. I don't enjoy what I'm doing there. So what about starting my own construction business? So I really explored that idea of there are so many little jobs out there. The current crew that I was working for, they're not doing these small jobs. They're doing multiple day projects, whether that's 2 weeks at a time, couple days projects, roofs, siding, whatever. So thinking, how many decks can I do? How many doors can I put in? How can I do these small projects? Because I have the freedom to go do those. I can fill in with my farming stuff. So I went to my brother, who was my boss at the time, and I said to him, I want to start my own business. I don't want to step on your toes. I want to do other small jobs. Are you okay with that? And at the time, he was building a lumberyard business. And he's like, hey, what do you think about you buying the equipment from me? You can use the company name for a period of time and I can get focused on building the lumber yard. And in 5 years, if you want to farm full time, I'll take the name back. So that's what we did. And I started doing that, and I was doing odd jobs by myself. If I needed help, I got a subcontractor here and there. The other guy that was working for my brother at the time started his own construction business. The other guy was doing a lot of the bidding at that time. So a lot of those jobs that he got, he took on. So anyways, that's kind of the story of how I went on my own. As going on my own, I was going, hey, I want to make just a little bit more money than I already was. I want to pay the bills. So I had this mindset of I can make just a little bit more money in half the time, and then I can continue farming. Somewhere in this time, I saw a Facebook ad, and I had this meeting with this guy who later became my coach. In this meeting, it changed my life. He exposed to me the idea of how I could make money for me. And I was like, ooh, how do I get to a point that I can invest in this? At this time, this guy was selling reverse engineered whole life insurance policy. And I'm like thinking, wow, this guy has something figured out. And I want to get to a point where I can invest in this reverse engineered whole life insurance policy. But I'm already not paying my bills, and he basically said, hey, it's 10 grand, you in or you're out. And I'm like, I'm out. But I had this conversation with Lindsay, and she's like, well, if he can learn it, we can learn it. And so I started listening to this guy. This guy started a podcast shortly after this, and I am listening to all of the information that I can get from him. One of his key points was focus on what makes you the most amount of money right now. So I was looking at my farm operation and going, hey, I'm negative money at the end of the year. This construction business is paying me money. I got focused on building the business, and not even building the business, just doing the work of the business and spending less time on the farm. So I'm working hourly at this time, maybe a few bid jobs. I went from making 27 grand a year to a little over 50 grand a year. So I doubled my income in 1 year. That next summer, I joined the coaching program and I doubled my income again. And then I really got focused on how do I make this sustainable? How do I get to my goal of making more money in less time? How do I get to my goal of being able to put money into retirement? How do I get to my goal of building a company where I have employees and they're doing the work and I'm working on the sales and I'm working my way into a CEO role where I'm more of an investor than working in my business? So I started working on my business so that I could own a business, not own my own job. A lot of this is huge transformations that I'm making in my brain and goals to what I want in life. I'm starting to build this. I'm starting to see, hey, my subcontractors aren't getting me where I want to go long term. They started out with me when I'm very much in a mindset of like, I'm just trying to make enough money to pay the bills. I want to make the same amount of money in half the time. But then I started seeing the potential of what can I do? How can I make more money in less time? How can I focus on what makes me the most amount of money so that long term my family gets the experiences that they wanted? Hey, Paul, this isn't going to be working 30 hours a week. We're going to work 50 hours a week. We're going to be dedicated on building the business in 50 hours a week. And I needed to stop and go, all right, I need to be focused on family time when I'm not working. So I really had to get dug down deep in what I'm doing. So I'm focused on work, I'm all in on work, and then I'm all in on family. This was a process. I did it very crappily for a long amount of time. I still do it very crappily. I'm sorry, Lindsay. So then that next year becomes a time that I'm no longer using subcontractors and running this hustle, that I am full-time building Modern Shed Builders, which somewhere in here, I switched the name to Modern Shed Builders and I got niched down on what I was doing. And that was a whole lot of how do I get to making more money in less time. So this is like all my podcasts combined into one, which niching down allowed me to get to my goal faster of making as much money as I can with fewer projects. And knowing that I want to go to the model of team members, I need to have something that I can teach them so that we can go from one shed to another shed and they know what's going on. And eventually they're my job foremans and they know what's going on and I can step into a sales role. But a lot of this, we're talking about the mindset in this. So my mind shift slowly transferred from being an employee, being a hustler, just going out, doing jobs, making enough money to get by, being in this mindset of making the same amount of money in less time, to, oh, I can get a crew, I can make more money, to, oh, I need to build this into a business. And using McDonald's for an example of how they have their system so down that they can use anybody. They come in, this is our system. You can be too qualified to work for McDonald's. How do I make my systems to where I can use anybody? I still want good quality people. My training process is so quick to the point where they help me build one shed. They know what's going on the second one. Are they going to be an expert at it? No, but they're going to have a really good idea of what's going on, what's the next step. And they can continue to grow and be better and move up in their roles. So now we're going to kind of move into the coaching side of things. Why coaching? And this is where I'm really going to talk about my coach and how he helped me change my mindset and where my goals were. And really saying, Lindsay was a huge part in this, is she was not satisfied with where we were at. She was not satisfied of not knowing how we're going to pay the credit card. She was really in tune to, hey, we're losing money on the farming operation. I don't know how this makes sense. How are we going to pay the bills? How are we going to do this? But she had this vision for what she wanted as a family. And it was not her husband working 80 hours a week, never being home, still not having the money to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, to know that she has the security and be able to stay home. To know that she has the security in, we have money coming in and I'm doing what I'm saying we're going to do. So Lindsay was a huge driving force into this. So my coach, Lindsay, the books I'm reading, and I'm just continually, it was a process working towards this goal of, what do I want out of life? What do I want in marriage? What type of father do I want to be? What type of business do I want to do? How much money do I want to make? So in this, I'm working towards building Modern Shed Builders into a sustainable business. But in the back of my head, this coach and Lindsay have helped me change my mindset from where I thought I was going to be a farmer and I was going to make just enough money to get by and I enjoy what I did. But coming to this realization that I can't make $100,000 a year and work 40 hours a week on my 120 acres with my 20 cows. It's not going to get me to my goal. And it was the hardest day in my life to decide to sell a certain amount of cows so that I could focus on my business, so that I could have the lifestyle with my family that I wanted long term. And that hard realization was that if I work 50 hours a week on construction and I come home and I work 20 hours a week on my farm and my kids don't have a relationship with me, would they want the farm anyways? And the answer was no. So if I can get to a point where I make $200,000 a year and we get to have the experiences we want and I'm a good dad and I have a relationship with my kids, I have a relationship with my wife, long term the world's going to end and this is an experience. Do I want to enjoy the experience with the people that I love? Or do I just want to be selfish and do the farming thing that I want to do because I want to rope cows and I want to do this thing? So that was a whole mental mind shift. Moving on to the coaching. So why coaching? Because of what my coach did for me, opened that mindset to be able to make more money, to have a better relationship with Lindsay, to be a better father, to make more money so that I can have the life that I actually want, to think about the life that I actually want. It inspired me so much and it did so much to my heart of, I'm getting the lifestyle that I want. This guy had such an impact on me that I'm building towards something greater. So I kind of set that in the back of my head, like, hey, once I get to this certain point and I have Modern Shed Builders completely operating on its own, I'm going to start a construction consulting program to help people walk through these steps, just like my coach did for me. My goal is to transform so many people's minds that they didn't even know that they could make more money in less time so that they could have the experience that they wanted. And some people have a very negative mindset on money and I am not a person that's like, oh, let's just throw money at somebody that doesn't know how to handle it. No, I would be very strategic in how I'm giving money to people. And whatever I'm giving money to, it's going to be hard on my heart of, wow, this person is working so freaking hard to provide for their family and they're going through a rough situation. I'm going to donate anonymously because they're working hard and I want to see them do well. Or they're going through a hard time, something that I went through in my life, and knowing that it was a hard time and that little boost is just, you got this, man. So that seed of becoming a coach was in the back of my mind, and I'm thinking, I have to prove it. I have to do this. I have to build this all the way to the point where I'm the CEO of my company and I have 10 employees and I just oversee it. Over the next couple of years, my wife and I decided to move to Wyoming. So we basically picked a place on the map. We are moving to Wyoming. I'm either going to find a job or I'm going to build modern shed builders out there. I applied for my coaching program to be a coach underneath them, and my coach said, Paul, we'll put your name in the hat. Have you ever considered about doing this for contractors? Paul, you can make way more money. You can help a whole different people. Contractors need this as much as farmers do. I think you should consider it. So this was a Voxer message that he sent me. And the whole time it's playing, it's like, oh my goodness, these are all these thoughts that I've already had. So then I start processing this over the next couple of weeks of going, why do I think I have to wait? I have gone through what these contractors are going through, and I can help. And I love talking about business. Right now, I'm doing exactly what I love to do. I love talking one-on-one to people, not to this stupid microphone. I love talking one-on-one with people about their business, about my experience, about what we've done, about building team culture, about entity structure. I love talking about these things. And if I can help more people in this, why wait 20 years to start my dream job? This is kind of my story, my mindset behind why help contractors. Because there are so many people like me making 27 grand a year, not paying their bills, not having the family life that they want, not getting to their long-term goals, that they don't even know they're capable of more. You don't know that you're capable of more. You haven't taken the time to think about what you want in life. How do I know this? Because it was me. I didn't think about what kind of father I wanted to be. I didn't think about what kind of husband I wanted to be. I didn't think about how much money I wanted to make. I was just doing what I thought I was capable of doing. But when I found out that I had the tools to make a business that could make me more money in less time so that I could have the experiences with my family that I wanted, I'm all in. And if I can walk this journey with a lot of people through Contractors Boardroom, that's going to be amazing. So in this episode, the contractor that I was talking to said, I said, how are you feeling? He's like, I'm a little depressed. I'm boring. I'm sick of where I'm at in my life. I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what I want to build. I encourage you to think about what you want long term in your relationships with your wife, in your relationship with your kids, as a business, how much money you want to make, what experiences do you want to have in this life. This life is all we get to experience on this earth. What do you want this experience to be? I hope this episode was helpful. We'll catch you on the next one.